Hey, everybody. We're going to talk today about how to believe your way to accomplishment. My name's Levi. This is Jill.
Hi.
We're here with Jill and Levi, Hunsaker.com. And today we want to talk to you about the fact that all progress begins with a belief in yourself, a belief in those around you, and a belief that something is even possible. And so what we're going to be talking about is some ways that you can brainwash yourself into believing in yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, so what brought this all about? This last week I started a new nutrition exercise plan, and it goes more into like the psychology of things instead of just what you eat and what you do. But one of the first things that I read, it said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And so you're not going to get where you want to go if you don't have a belief in yourself. So that was what made me think, let's talk about that in a business sense.
Yeah. So from your business, from your networking business, it all starts in your mind, and everybody starts in a different place, but we all have the same opportunity to move forward in our business. You just have to seize it and spend time learning and things like that. But it all starts right here, the 6 inches between your ears. This is the most valuable real estate in the world, the 6 inches between your ears, not between your years, but between your earlobes. And it all starts in the mind. Success begins with an idea that's planted in your mind. And when it really comes down to it, whatever your mind focuses on tends to enlarge in your life. So think about it. Maybe the last time you purchased a new to you car, did you start noticing that all of the other cars on the road seem to be just like yours? Well, it's not that they weren't there before. It's just that idea of them existing and you focusing on them really was not a big part of your life. And your mind actually is able to filter out a lot of stuff, because we have tons of inputs coming into us every single day. And the mind decides, your subconscious mind is kind of filtering what you see. So if you make a conscious effort to see what you want to see, you're going to see it. And so what you think about, you bring about, especially in a business sense. So where is your focus?
Yeah, so earlier I was talking about how I used to not believe that I could be a business owner. Like, that was not even on my radar until I was pretty much thrown into the middle of it, because I was.
Because of this guy right here.
But slowly over time, I have been able to change that belief, because it first started with learning, and after I learned a few things, I started to understand what the people in our network were talking about. So it's kind of like starting to understand a new language, and it's just cool how experience can change our belief.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we learned from one of our mentors is there are 5 stages to belief. You're going to start, if you have never thought something was even possible, you're now in the impossible phase. This is stage 1. It's just not possible for that to be a reality for you. So that's impossible stage. The second stage is improbable. Well, now we're improving, because, well, it might be possible, but maybe it's not likely. That's the second stage of belief. The third stage of belief is, oh yeah, that's something that's possible. That's a definite possibility. Okay, so now we're warming up. You get to the fourth stage, and now what you're looking at is, well, it's probable. Not only is it just possible, but hey, now it's much more likely that something like that is going to occur. And then the last stage, the final stage of belief is, this is inevitable. It's going to happen no matter what. and I'm going to make it happen. So from your business standpoint, when you first started and got introduced to this concept of networking, there's a lot of people that are very hesitant about that idea. But as you get warmed up to the idea, it starts out as impossible, moves to improbable, to possible, to probable, and inevitable. And when you can picture in your mind the success, and we've, I don't think you were on that live. I think I was doing that live talking about some of the things I learned so far in the NLP course. Jill is also taking the same course with me as well. We're just kind of doing it at our own pace. But it talks about, your ability to picture an event in the future and create everything surrounding that event, the emotions, the feelings, the sights, the tastes, the smells, everything that's happening around that. And the cool thing about that is your mind can't tell the difference when you go through the visualization process repeatedly. You are actually creating a future memory in your own mind that you can have total recall and just bring back that experience. And so it's really cool because when you can go through those visualization exercises and really have that belief and really have the recall of what that feels like inside your body, you've basically brainwashed and programmed your mind into believing that that event is not only possible, but inevitable because you have already experienced it. And so it's an incredible mind training. I say brainwashing, but basically we're programming our brain to achieve what we're looking for by programming it to already know what it feels like to have achieved that already. So super cool technique. If you want to jump into that more, we can definitely chat about that. But
yeah, so let's see, what are some of the steps of, like, I guess, developing a new belief?
Yeah,
Learning and experiencing and
well, and to me, learning and experiencing are two of the biggest ways to get out of the impossible phase. Because if you learn something new that you didn't know before, well, now what is impossible? Well, that just seems improbable or even improbable or even possible, right? You're jumping steps on the ladder of these stages of belief and experiencing something new. You know that fun, fast cars exist, for example. So we had an experience where I went and test drove a car that means a lot to me, mostly because of history that my dad had one of these cars growing up, but they've kind of revamped them. It's the Dodge Challenger. And we went out for a little bit of a lifestyle day one day and I got a test drive one. And I got to tell you, that was a ton of fun. It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'd love to have one of these. It's a more expensive vehicle. And there were a few interesting things. I loved driving it. It was a lot of fun. I got to experience it for one. And so now it's becoming, well, yeah, this is possible. This is even probable, stepping up that ladder on the stages of belief. But another interesting thing happened. I experimented on it and I examined the experiment and I thought, I love this car. It has sentimental value, but would I want to own one on a daily basis? And the decision for me was no, that was not the vehicle that, makes sense for our family. That really, it was a good experience, but it's not something that felt like I needed to experience over and over again. So I had the experience, and then what I thought I wanted, well, it changed because I examined the experience and then decided on something different.
Yeah. So
that's a huge way to kind of move yourself along in that ladder of progression in the 5 stages of belief.
Yep. I think as we experience new things, we slowly become more comfortable and it just helps us to progress.
Yeah. And the last thing is take it one step at a time. You are not like, don't have expectations to jump from where you're at to where somebody else is at, because getting yourself into that comparison is the fastest way to get yourself down. Instead, focus on where you're at and focus on improving your stage of belief, and be honest. If you're at impossible, awesome. Now you know it's okay. But what can you do to take the next step to climbing that ladder of the success, the 5 stages of belief? How do you get from impossible to improbable? Go experience something new that you haven't experienced before, and take those little steps one at a time. And when you're moving in a positive direction, that's where you are going to work your way into believing in your ability to accomplish your goals. So one last quote that we would like to share, and this is from Christopher Reeve, the old school Superman from when I was a kid. And you know, that's Superman to me, Christopher Reeve.
So
You gonna go for it?
yeah. So he says, so
My throat's getting
many
dry.
of our dreams at first seem impossible, then seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. So before we end, I just want to say that we care about your goals and your dreams, and we would love to hear about them.
Yeah. So one thing we would like you to do is, whether you're going to do this on this live video, on this post, or feel free to send this to us privately if you don't feel like putting it out there. We would like to know, what is one goal that you would like to achieve, and how, this is the second part of it and the most important part, how you are going to work your way up the ladder of the 5 stages of belief into believing and knowing that you can accomplish that goal, that it becomes an inevitability. So go ahead, drop that in the comments below, or shoot us a message, whichever you're most comfortable with. And we believe in you and your capability to have success in your business, and we're rooting for you to succeed. So
Good night.
have a great night, everybody.